Album Concept Hour. The Album Concept Hour. It's the Album Concept Hour.
What's up, and welcome back to the Album Concept Hour. We are here. We have done our little pee break, and we are back and ready to discuss this album that we have broken into, Ethel Cain's Preacher's Daughter from 2022. Pretty new one, this one. Pretty depressing stuff.
A lot of things happen.
A lot of things happen. It's a longer one. And we're going to talk all about that. And but before we get to that, we are going to go through and find out what everyone around here has been listening to lately. So you know what? I'll go first while you're digging out that stuff. I'm just going to go with my kind of weekly Music League report. We have a Dude What playlist for my Music League this week, and that was the prompt was something that would get the aux cord taken from you. And we have Cortez the Killer by Neil Young, Black Jesus by Everlast. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but that's a interesting song to say the least. Philosophy of the World by the Shags, from the podcast.
Hell yeah, Tom Waits.
Pasties in the G String. This one, The Party by Justice. Really, I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, then we got some good ones. Oh, here's the one that I was fearing a lot though. The Don't Stop Believing by the Glee cast.
Yeah.
That one I was like, oh no.
I've been rewatching
I'm gonna have to listen to that at some point.
That happened because I'm rewatching Glee right
now. Yeah. Oh, but I will say I did discover a really cool band, Porridge Radio, and the track I heard was Sweet from our previous list, and that was probably my favorite new artist that I discovered from that. So that's been my listenings. What about you, Dave? You got your phone out?
I do. So the last week been there was one band called Off,
right?
Actually, I take it back. Sorry, it was Off. My list got a little messed up.
Okay.
Had a beer tasting with some friends, and we were just sharing music, and
yeah.
So this band Off was I guess I don't want to say a side project anymore. It's probably kind of a current project. Keith Morris, so ex Black Flag, ex Circle Jerks.
Oh wow.
Okay. Old 80s hardcore, but kind of got a new band out, and the album Free LSD is fantastic. It's exactly kind of like what I wanted for like the new sound.
Would they have a new album out?
Yeah, I think it just
wow.
recently.
Yeah, that's an older group.
Yeah, 2022.
Wow. Okay.
But really, really good. So Free LSD if you want something a little heavy, a little fun, energetic.
Yeah.
But he then been back and forth. So Slow Dive, and there's the self-titled that came out I think 6-7 years ago. Frank Black.
Yeah.
A Lot of Stars. Arcade Fire, Replacements, Ambretta. Of course, some Beastie Boys in there, and then my old friend Nate Palin. He's his podcast. This band could be your food.
Oh yeah,
been catching up on the new season of his stuff, and
good.
Forgot it came out again.
I'm glad to hear that's still going. Yeah.
So I mean, it's from 2023. I think it's to current now, but I was kind of behind. But super fun. So
yeah, we'll put a link to that podcast in the description.
That's
one of Dave's buddies. And you got a couple buddies now with podcasts.
A few.
Yeah. What about you, John? What have you been jamming on? You got any stuff you've been watching or any music news? Has the Grammys happened yet?
No, those will be in February.
February.
Not much. Like I said, I guess I saw Wicked. So
that's some music.
Always got to put those on the classic reruns.
Yeah. You're saying it was a little long, but
it was a little long, but it was a good movie.
Yeah.
The digital effects are crazy throughout the whole thing. But it could have been 2.5 hours.
They managed to make the flying monkeys terrifying again.
Yes, they are actually.
Oh, really?
It's
okay.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, they're digitally recreated, and they got teeth, and
as monkeys should.
Yeah.
The wings are they have the whole scene where they get their wings in there because Alfaba reads a spell.
Oh shit!
Every time a bell rings, a monkey gets his wings.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Otherwise, man, I don't know. I got the end of my Christmas music in, I guess.
Yes, it is the end of Christmas music season, but we did have a good one this year.
We did. It was a good one. Bringing in the new year.
Yeah, as you will see
before the apocalypse of 2025 happens.
Yeah. Speaking of Christmas, I'm going to change the cam to the studio with the other cam. We have John Denver in the corner here. Just ignore that. This is no big deal. I just forgot to remove it before I started the stream.
I will say I've been listening to a lot of John Denver as well. Actually,
okay.
Because
little
Country Roads, Take Me Home, little Rocky Mountain.
Yeah. Got a taste for it when we did the Rocky Mountain.
Started actually doing a nice little batch of old country in general.
Mm-hmm.
It always fills my heart with glee when I listen to these guys that old conservatives love.
Not Glee. We were just talking about Glee,
and they were all big liberals. all those old country guys, all big. It's great. But
they were outlaw country.
Yeah,
Yeah. But so before we get into the album,
Otherwise, I've been rewatching Glee as the obviously has been recognized somehow by accident in your little list there.
Oh yeah, okay.
You gotta do the Glee. Cool.
Yeah, my
stop believing Glee.
My sister was really big into Glee, and but I never jumped into it. But anyway, so
the first couple seasons are good, but then it starts to get
kind of going off the rails. Yeah. Well, before we get into the actual album, I just wanted to bring up a few pieces of I guess lore building materials. This is kind of the loose premise of what's going on, from the outside perspective. We saw the the missing sign before when we were doing our listen through. So this community assumes that she has been kidnapped or something. But basically this takes place 10 years after her father, the preacher, has died. And the entire community is he's like a pillar of the community. Everyone loves him. And so the way that her becoming a prostitute later in the album is phrased is that there's a lot of really, really awful negativity, towards her, and saying your parents didn't deserve this. They raised you right, kind of stuff. So yeah. It's a real gross, kind of.
People don't have their own lives, right?
Yeah, Scarlet Letter kind of shit going on here.
And props to making up like the full newspaper sort of article and actually typing all the stuff out.
Yeah.
It's not just a picture of missing. They actually put
That's what I'm saying. This album has so much lore that's before I found these documents, I was so confused because everyone was telling all these big stories that I wasn't seeing in the lyrics themselves.
What are you talking about?
So it was nice to get some of the context. Definitely.
What's the little writing on the very bottom?
Oh, right. So this is that girl they were talking about. Have Jennifer fax this to Shady Grove PD, because that's where she goes to, I think, with Isaiah, I want to say.
The hotel?
Either Isaiah or the second guy that she was dating, but I can't remember right now.
Is it the motorcycle guy that likes to start a fight from the bar across the street?
Yeah, pretty much. Then we got, let me find the next picture I have here. Oh yeah, we have a note here from someone in the chat. Hayden is also planning to make a diary book for it, about Ethel, which actually that leads right into what I was about to open up. We have, oh no, that's not it. That's the letter from Isaiah I already showed you. Spoilers. And then, nope, that's the poster.
So much promo.
Oh yeah, so this is a page out of the supposed diary of the preacher's daughter. So, here she references Willoughby, her first love that she never forgets. And then, this kind of tells the story of, I believe her parents dying or someone dying. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember, and I'm not going to read the whole thing right now. But then we have, I think there's one more piece here. Oh yeah, we have a high school article. So this is Ethel Cain getting ready to leave for work in the parking lot after school. So they even have a high school article. So like, demonstrates like all parts of the story. Like it's just really like, I even love that there's like a little bit of a different article on the left here, like that attention to detail.
It's like a real kind of like newspaper shit.
Yeah. So anyway, if you are just a listener, like you're not seeing any of this, but there's some really cool materials that they use, that Ethel Cain used to promote and get the idea of the album out there. There's also a really good interview where she's talking in character about her situation. So that one's a good one to dig into. We'll leave some links in the description, hopefully. And then, so this is kind of, a Southern Gothic story type thing. It's about a preacher's daughter of a Southern Baptist preacher and her story and experience, and loosely canonical to her actual life, but she's kind of put all of that into this character into this album. So she spent a lot of time working on this. There were several EPs before this album, and finally she finished it. So here is where we start. Family Tree intro. And we'll hear a longer version of this song later, but here is a little bit of that.
In Christ, forgive these bones I'm hiding. From no one successfully. Jesus can always reject his father.
Oh man, that's a heavy fucking line. Jesus can always reject his father. And I think the next line is something about how she can't reject her mother though, or something like, it's this track really gets into her identity quite a bit. We should mention this is a trans woman, and she was, I think, 16 when she left her family to be on her own, and then 2 years after she left her religious family, she started transitioning. Kind of loose reference to that is, and Christ forgive these bones I'm hiding from no one successfully. So, that could be a double entendre to, bones like bones in the closet, but also like, her true self that is, that she knows she is, as a woman. But yeah, there's a lot of grappling with her faith in this album. She seems to want to hold on to it, even regardless of the,
Just the
awful pain and trauma she experiences through it and through her father. But yeah, this line, Jesus can always reject his father, but he cannot escape his mother's blood. Which is pretty fucking deep, because like, if you're talking about Joseph or really his dad,
I was about to say, like, he can always reject his father, but he cannot escape his mother because he is his mother's blood, because he is human connection to his mother.
Yeah. The if you're a believer, it's the fully man, fully human thing.
It's why he had to be born out of a woman, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But also be plopped on the planet,
But also, he cannot escape his mother's blood, in the sense that, if you follow the Bible or whatever, he's got, she's descended from David or whatever.
The bloodline.
So she, that's what connects Jesus
actually,
to.
No, I actually think that's Joseph.
They're both no. So they're actually both connected to David. Yeah.
Really?
If you like read the different scriptures or whatever.
Yeah. And if you follow, because I know there's plenty of bloodlines.
So that's the thing. That's the thing about the Bible. They're
scriptures.
covering both of their bases, man. They're like, no. Joseph's connected and Mary's connected.
All right.
Y'all can't say shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I actually did look that up when I was doing this research.
Okay.
Man, the church dropping truth bombs.
Yeah, no, that's what I like.
Got them 16th cousins getting married.
As a preacher's son myself, I really like dissecting these verses that are kind of well known and these ideas from Christianity that are well known, and then seeing them in a different light or potentially a new light, or the correct light, not being used for bigotry or whatever,
right. Or promotion.
Because that's the thing. That's the thing. You learn about Jesus and how like fucking woke he was, and then you get in trouble for being woke.
Yeah.
Well,
I always say there's literally like 10, 15 years that the Bible won't even cover. Like, they're or like the official, like what most people get kind of thing has him like until he's like 11 or 12, like doing miracles and shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it drops off. And then he's like a 28-year-old man. He's back and he's a man now.
Yeah, the apocryphal gospels. Yeah,
that's
are
when
fun.
he comes, he gets his disciples and he does all the meaningful stuff.
Yeah,
what was he doing?
That's
in those crazy teen years.
That's what people
Who's
always
he hanging out with.
That's what everyone asks. Hey, what would Jesus do? Because they had no idea either.
Yeah. Jesus apparently
like,
would.
What did he do?
He would fuck off for a couple decades.
Me and Nick think he went out east, met some Buddhist people.
I think that's
took a walk about.
I think that's my favorite interpretation too. Like, because he does seem to come back with Buddhist like teachings, and then just adds them to the Judaism. And
I'll tell you too. Like you think about, because he comes back and he's just got a love for the poor too. So. Yeah. What if he was in his like teens, and this is all what if, by the way. What if he was in his
great
like
Marvel
teens,
what if,
and like he did some shit because he was Jesus, so he could do some miracles, and then rich people were like, "You're awesome," and they took him in, and then he saw what shit people they were.
Yeah, he was in his Buddha era.
Yeah, and he was like, "Wait a second, so you guys suck, and the poor people are actually like where it's at."
Yeah, a lot of people like to forget that shit.
Yep. And he came back and hung out with the
Buddha
poor.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But that was our Jesus minute.
Oh, there's gonna be more Jesus stuff, man. And it's not all gonna be fun and rainbows.
Of course not.
This is also a really serious line here. Swinging by my neck from the family tree. Oh, did I say spoiler alert? Or not spoiler alert? Trigger warning. That's not the same thing.
You did say trigger
at the beginning of this episode. There's gonna be some hard stuff. But yeah, swinging by my neck from the family. He'll laugh and say, I raised you better than this. Then leave me hanging so they can all laugh at me. So literally like talking about how like she feels that her father would like lynch her and then laugh about it. Fucking, yeah.
That's family support right there.
Here we go. American Teenager though. Here's kind of,
tradition.
Starts off, so we've talked about a lot of dark stuff so far, but the first several tracks, are just built, just go towards that. So we have some levity. Well, I wouldn't say levity. Anyway, here's American Teenager.
In the middle of the night, when the lights go out, and I'm all alone, say what you want, but say it like you mean it with your fist for once. A long cold war with your kids in the front. Just give it one more day, then you're done.
That was a great track.
Dude, yeah.
Hands down.
It sounds like, I love the production of it. Like it just, I love that just more people are bringing some of those 80s sounds back to popular music, Yeah, really, really great track. And it really gets into like, this is, it's called, American Teenager. And it really does get into the kind of like war that's being fought, kind of like in the I'm still forgetting the album that we covered. Fucking Not Between the Buried and Me.
Hey, so since Trump is gonna pardon all the January
Arcade Fire.
6thers. Can we like listen to Iced Earth again then, I guess? Can we promote that album?
I guess I can unblock it I can unprivate it on YouTube. I did see it is on YouTube, and I was just like, I'm just gonna leave that one private. But anyway, so I was saying, this has got a first of all, I was thinking Chapel Roan-esque, with the production.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
But also makes me think of the Arcade Fire album Suburbs, where it was a lot about the kind of the youth being at the front lines of this like spiritual and modern warfare of capitalism or whatever. This one's not so much getting into the capitalism aspect at all, but like the fact that like this line is really tough here. The neighbor's brother came home in a box, but he wanted to go, so maybe it was his fault. Another red heart taken by the American dream.
It's like the Wonder Years as an example. Like one of the first episodes, like the neighborhood kid everyone knows about or looks up to, like.
Oh, is that an actual episode?
Yeah.
Oh, that's devastating.
Found out later, he dies.
Yeah. No, I had a friend in high school that lost their brother, and it was it's fucking hard.
You had a few classmates too.
Yeah. I had a brother that was over there, and I like this line here: say what you want, but say it like you mean it, with your fist for once, a long cold war with your kids at the front. I like that line because like I think that especially with some of the things she's saying in this album, she's kind of grappling with the fact that her religion was forced on her, and she was also at like the front line of that spiritual warfare that she did not ask to be involved in. You know what I mean? Which like that's part of why I really relate to this. Like I felt like I was really
thrown into
it. I didn't have a choice to
make a decision if you wanted to be
a part of it, and I definitely resented it for a little while because of that. But I do like that they mention Dale Earnhardt, I believe, in this line. I think they mentioned NASCAR earlier, but good all American teen song. Like it almost gets into like Taylor Swifty territory with the sound, but it's just so much like bigger. I don't know. It's just the sound is just huge, part of that dream pop stuff. But then we get to another. I mean, this one's a bittersweet track that we're about to get into. Hold on, I gotta do a Kim comment check here. Oh, this was on Obama's yearly playlist, and it's a meme that he covers his ears during the neighbor's brother come home in a box. Oh, that Obama. Oh, that's dark. That Obama loves this, but like he has to contend with the fact that he was the drone strike president. God damn it. Anyway, we were going to move on to a house in Nebraska. Oh no, Kim messed something up. Oh no. Oh well, we'll see what Kim messed up after you listen to this track here.
This is a very Bruce Springsteen sounding track.
But Nebraska?
Oh yeah, house in Nebraska. It does sound like a Bruce Springsteen track, doesn't it? I think she was.
Wind rolling through.
No, seriously though, I think I remember reading that "Born in the USA" was one of the inspirations, is one of the things that she was listening.
It's a song that everyone gets wrong.
Yeah. Is it? Wait. Oh yeah. The
meaning.
The meaning of it. Yeah, that's true. It is kind of used as like a USA anthem.
Like a propaganda.
It's not,
America. It's like you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like the original Rage Against the Machine misunderstanding. But yeah, here's a house in Nebraska, real bittersweet one.
And it hurts to miss you, but it's worse to know that I'm the reason you won't come home. But I still call home that house in Nebraska.
She puts a lot of grand production in this album, and I really like that.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like this, I I don't know if it was in contention for Grammys, but it definitely should have been if it wasn't.
Great headphone album.
Great headphone album. Yeah, definitely. Oh, they want Kim, one of the people in the chat. You can join us in the chat if you would like to on youtube.com/FlyOverStatePark. But they mentioned that part of the reason that NASCAR, visions of NASCAR and rock and roll and such are included is it makes you feel like NASCAR drivers make you feel like anything's achievable, like something you could do, something that you can achieve, and is kind of shoe in for that feeling of a dream. So I like that. I like that idea. But yeah, this track we just listened to details her kind of first time like experiencing peace and like actual like love, reciprocal love from someone, or at least, you know, she feels that that's happening. And it's with a character called Willoughby Tucker. And unfortunately, this this story ends with Willoughby unceremoniously walking out. Yeah. So this track is kind of her, I guess, like looking at the, you know, home in Nebraska and remembering the dirty mattress that they slept in. So it was like, you know, it wasn't like a, you know, great, you know, situation as far as like their, you know, money situation or anything, but like it was nonetheless her favorite times. Even though it was dark, because he says here, the dirt roads are empty, the one we paved ourselves. Your mama calls me sometimes to see if I'm doing well. And I lie to her and say that I'm doing fine, when really I'd kill myself to hold you one more time. Oh yeah, this is after he's left. That's right. But, and then there's like self-deprecation here. It's worse to know that I'm the reason you won't come home. So yeah, she's grappling with that feeling of brokenness and feeling like she can't, she wasn't able to provide enough for that person to feel, you know, enough. It's just depressing. It's just really depressing. This fucking album is rough. Yeah, she does, you know, bounce back a little bit with her next lover. So she you know, Willoughby runs away, and then we get to Western Nights, where she has a real bad boy relationship with a guy that breaks into ATMs and robs banks and stuff. So
it's kind of like a Tom Waits song.
Yeah, this is kind of the Thelma and Louise bit. Like she I think originally wanted to do a very Thelma and Louise type movie or something. So I think this is probably the most reminiscent of that original idea.
But if you love me like you say you do, would you ask me to? Trouble's always gonna find you, baby, but so will
I will say right when my mind went to when you're talking about this track, Tom Petty, Free Fallin'. He's a bad boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, this is another just, again, like these first 3-4 tracks were like,
yeah.
So
they really pull you in.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Great like almost storytelling with like every track. You're just like,
yeah.
What else happened?
Yeah, the writing's great. The writing's really good. Here we got in the verse 2, I haven't spoken to my daddy in a long, long time. I don't want him to worry, always wondering if I'm all right. But the neighborhood keeps getting smaller, all starved out when the money's paper thin. All that's left are your walls, and you'll die there. I should have known that there's no getting in. So yeah, they're running on hard times, and I think this line here, "Trouble's always going to find you, baby," is something that she really feels, especially after having, you know, lost Willoughby.
Yeah,
and you know, him run out and not say anything. You know,
just life falling apart.
So yeah, I guess they did some. Oh, and they're talking about a little bit of the abuse. Watched him show his love through shades of black and blue.
That was a tough one.
Starting fights at bars across the street like you do. The neighbors beat on the walls while I'm face first in the bed. Show me how much I mean to you while I'm lying in the sheets undressed. Anyway, so
I mean, she like, it's tough.
She loves him.
Like,
she really loves him. And
she
shows that
abusive,
shit, Yeah, that complicated abusive relationship that happens when well, like this is how like grooming works. Like there's a girl that has like very little experience in the world, has only been like experienced like abuse or neglect, and then some predator out there in the world decides to take advantage of that, and that's kind of what this whole story is her just running into man after man after man that takes advantage of that, except for Willoughby, who leaves. So you never, it's potential. He could have potentially gone that direction, but we never know, yeah, this is it's a good track, really good track. And then we get to Family Tree, the full track of Family Tree.
All the way to the shadow, as you wash all over my head.
What I also like is there's a bit of Woody Guthrie Dust Bowl ballads in this, I feel, as far as like, I mean, I don't know, just like the type of story that she's telling about, being in the South and poverty and just gut wrenching hard times that never get better, because yeah, she does have a song about the Dust Bowl, I guess. I have not heard that track yet, but yeah, it's called Dust Bowl, I guess. And yeah, I think that part of growing up where she did, and having the interests she did, she seems very interested in the past and in her history as well. Even if it's a hard, difficult history, But yeah, there's apparently a lot of unreleased stuff too. That's that gets into this stuff. But here we go with Family Tree. It gets back to the, these crosses all over my body remind me of who I used to be. I fucking feel that. As someone who used to be very, very, religious, very, like I was afraid of hell, constantly worried about going to hell and stuff. And, it was a really big part of my personality and who I was. And, yeah, I still carry those crosses with me too, yeah, really, really tough stuff here though. Like, give myself up to him an offering, let him make a woman out of me. I'm just a child, but I'm not above violence. My mama raised me better than that. When the preacher talks, that man demands his silence. And daddy said, shoot first, then run, and don't look back. So I think we will learn a lot about her mother in the next one, because she does kind of reference her mother mostly in a positive light. And I think we're probably going to find that her mother, like, was one of the better parts of her life and maybe shielded her from things like this. Or we'll find the opposite out. I don't know. But so far, like, that's the one thing is, like, her mother is definitely a very positive figure in all the text that refers to her, Yeah. Oh, that's a good line. And baby, hell don't scare me. I've been times before.
Well, I was going to say,
yeah.
It's like one time Nick told me, like we were talking about hell, and such.
Yeah, yes.
And Nick was literally just like, well, hell's for like actual bad people, John. Like they use hell to scare you, your parents, church,
yeah,
society sometimes,
yeah.
But really, like hell's for bad people. Hell is not for people just doing.
Well, I mean, my whole take on it is that there is no there is very little reference to hell in the Bible in the first place.
Right.
Like there's a reference to like a lake of fire, but most of the times when people are saying that it's hell, they're just talking about suffering in general in the Bible.
Right.
So there's very little evidence that, that's part of the package. It's just something that Christianity picked up at some point and ran with, like around, I think the 1200s or something.
There's got to be some form of punishment.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we didn't even have an image for Satan until like 1000 AD or something. Yeah, that's the thing. Hell has taken a really big part of Christianity, and I don't think that's good.
And what's funny about it is that like they take a lot of the imaging from the really early parts of the Bible.
Well,
and if you
they take it from Dante's Inferno is the problem. The problem is a lot of the stuff that modern Christians think of as hell all come from Dante's Inferno, which we actually will get to in this. There's actually a reference to one of the circles of hell in Dante's Inferno in this album. But as far as my research can tell, like there really is not that many references to hell in the Bible proper.
Okay.
There's a lot more references to heaven than hell. But
Earth is hell, right?
Well, it's like, and they suggest that heaven's a state of mind with like the kingdom of heaven is upon you. So hell, with that logic, is also a state of mind.
Right. Heaven is a place on earth.
Heaven is don't you know that heaven is a place on earth? Ooh. All right. This is a tough one, guys. This is hard.
You can do it, Brad.
This is hard times.
On my birthday, you watched me dancing right there in the grass. I was too young to notice that some types of love could be bad.
That's like one of the most devastating lines in that album, I think. Essentially, so again, trigger warning. She was sexually assaulted by her preacher father when she was 9. And this is essentially like the last memory she has kind of before, being corrupted and discovering that sometimes love can be, looks of love can be bad, which is just, a devastating thing for a 9-year-old to grapple with. And it says, I think some of the lyrics say like,
your brain's ready to grapple with that material.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. And she says something like 9 going on 18, which is kind of suggesting how she like grew up, immediately, in that experience and stuff. And, it's especially awful because like in the story of the album, like everyone in her community like lauds her father and like still sees him as this a hero in the community, and it's just a slap in the face to her whole experience, considering he did this.
Oh, dude, I just watched an episode of Glee, actually.
Oh, about this kind of...
Yeah. Like,
shit.
So, like, one of the, like, her name was Coach Beast. She was getting
Coach
abused.
Beast?
Yeah, she was a big... And in real life, she was actually like a weightlifter.
Yeah.
So she was like a big woman. Right?
Yeah,
she was brought in to be like the coach of the football team.
Yeah.
But so she gets married and finds out like that this guy is like beating her.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and so this is like where the cycle of trauma and violence begins, And this is probably the most autobiographical track, if I were to guess, because I think a lot of the other stuff is kind of being, kind of changed a little bit for the story and to make things work. But this one feels very, very like diary kind of entry,
Yeah, but like
and this, I don't even know if I want to talk about this section, but I just want to sleep. Like I'm too tired to move, too tired to leave. I just want to sleep. Like,
it gets weird.
Yeah, and that's
and tough.
Yeah, and it's like this is like just a level of just I don't know, just
like,
bearing it all. That's really brave to write.
Just emotionally broken, like
yeah.
Well, and like what I was saying before, like so like at one point like Coach Beast was like confronted by like some other teachers about it. And literally this one teacher was like, my sister, she had this man, and like when he came over for the kids and he was the nicest person, always had gifts for the kids, and then he started beating her, and like like she didn't have like courage to leave, but it's like like because that man put on such a nice front, so it's like what are you gonna tell other people? Well, he's a good guy.
That's like the thing. That's how assault hides.
It's like you were saying with the grooming shit. It's all the same kind of like concept.
Yeah. So I just wanted to. That's actually part of the reason, kind of, that I wanted to cover this album going into the new year, because we are also going into a new.
Don't let domestic abuse reign during the new regime. That's what we're.
Well, that's what I mean. I think that it's important to. Yeah, it's important to talk about. Like, there's a lot of women whose lives are about to be, extremely impacted, tougher. and it's a reminiscent of an older time when they didn't have rights. And
I tell you, man, I literally said that. Like, I got out of my car the day after the election to a bunch of people who voted for him.
That's right.
On time at work, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, hey, fellas, we're a bunch of white straight males. We should be fine.
We should be okay, I guess.
We should be okay, I guess, right?
Yeah. Cool.
No one caught on to what the joke was, actually, but hey, that's that's the audience I was dealing with.
All right, well, we're going to cover one more track before we take a quick break, but I have a couple clips for this track. This is going to be Thoroughfare, and I have a clip from the album, or the main part of the track, and then I got a bit of the scatting outro. So here's Thoroughfare. It is mostly, talking about this guy Isaiah in a positive light, but as you'll find, she's not a reliable narrator.
And then you turn to me instead, and to me deep inside. Well, maybe not, 'cause look at what I've got. You might not be my love, but baby, I doubt it. And you said, hey, do you wanna see the worst of me?
So yeah, this is her meeting this other guy Isaiah, and him, seeing that she's vulnerable and taking advantage of her. But it's seen through her eyes. So like, it seems like this exciting, like, adventure going west with this guy, just getting on the road and stuff. And she talks about how, they make love, and he's like the nicest man that she's ever met, because she's only met like horrible men. And it's a really beautiful
it's
song.
It's really tough when the bar is so low,
Yeah. It sucks. Like,
there was Willoughby.
Yeah, the line here, like, because for the first time since I was a child, I could see a man who wasn't angry. Like, that's a sad line.
Really sad, tale.
And yeah, it's a very sweet song. If you only listen to this song and nothing else on the album, it's very sweet. And I'll say there's like a really fucking sexy line that I have to talk about. And you said, "Hey, don't you want to see the West with me?" Oh wait, no, never mind. Here, where is it? Is it in this track? Or no, it's not in the next. It can't be in the next one. Here it is. And we found heaven in time where your western sunshine met my deep southern wet. And you got lost in it, and yet found yourself hard pressed for air and sweating. Wow. just gotta fan myself off for a second after those
You got
lyrics.
the vapors?
Like, I got the vapors.
Lord, those lyrics.
This is what those lyrics made me feel like.
Did Sheryl Crow get here?
Dude, right?
Sheryl
Crow, Alanis Morissette, like it's like every alt 90s lady,
girls.
you know? Yeah. What you mentioned a good one earlier, Dave. What was it? There's another song. There's the one with the dancing girl in the butterfly suit.
Oh, Shannon Hoon.
What?
Shannon Hoon. Oh, Blind Melon.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's got a real 90s flair to this one. I really like that outro. And that's the end of the story, and everything was happy ever after, and it was all good.
That's
Wait, I'm sorry. There's another
another
6
depressing-
tracks. I'm
Another
sorry.
side of this album.
So this, I guess, when we get back on the other side of this thing, we're gonna cover the last 6 tracks, and don't go away. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back to the Album Concept Hour. We're back to finish off the last 6 tracks of this, but Dave brought over some nice beers, so I think we should do a little bit of what is Dave drinking? And that's an official wake-up call to Kim if you had fallen asleep during the break. So what have we been drinking today? So I started with my Modelo, and then I moved
Modelo
on.
time.
It is Modelo time, and I moved on to this Young Blood Brewery beer that Dave brought over called Tavern Cut versus Pie Cut. The
struggle is real.
Yeah, I mean that's a struggle that has been discussed in every kitchen with pizza. And then
is it like what's the flavor?
Oh, you want to try a sip? It's fruit punch.
Fruit punch sour.
It's like a soda, dude.
Oh, yeah.
John just went through so many emotions.
Every emotion.
Not bad, but it is like it's like eating like a sour
it's like candy.
Skittle or something like that.
Yeah. It's not bad.
It wasn't a bad little sour.
Yeah.
Bad.
And then John, you got some of your Steel Reserve,
I got
of course.
Classic Steel Reserve.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
drinking Paps at home,
Yeah. Love the classics. And then I'm about to taste the other beer. What is this that I'm about to taste? The stout.
So Three Sheeps, they have like their main stout, I believe, just called Wolf. And then every year they do like just variations of it. So this is the aged in Elijah Craig 18-year barrel.
Oh, wow.
So
it's
a nice boozy bourbon blended.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Stout.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the aged did it good.
You want a sip? You're good on the stout today.
But my dad actually, shout out for him. He loves
shout out to Vern.
It's called Moose Drool.
Mm-hmm.
Moose Drool.
It's out of
Big
Minnesota.
Sky, Montana.
Yeah, or Montana.
It is.
Oh, Big Sky country.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a very dark beer. My dad loves it.
I think
it's one of his favorites.
I think it's like a brown ale.
Yeah.
We'll have to try that on the podcast sometime.
The picture, always find it funny because like there's a picture on the front, you know, and it's a moose, and it's just like
he just took a big
like
drink of water,
big fountain of drool just coming out of his mouth.
Well, I guess true to its name, that's nice.
Moose Drool.
Moose Drool. Yeah. We'll have to have that on a future edition of What is Dave drinking?
Somebody made it and they tasted it and they're like, it's like Moose Drool.
This tastes exactly like Moose Drool. It was Santa Claus. No, wait, he doesn't have mooses. Those are reindeer. Anyway, that has been What is Dave drinking? All right, yeah, we just needed to take a little break before we got into Gibson Girl. So this is where we are going to learn about the other side of what's been happening with Ethel Cain and Isaiah. So here is Gibson Girl.
The other viewpoint.
There's a little instrumental break you got in there.
Yeah, I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but some of the guitar stuff on here is really good. Like there's some like Ethel Cain rips on the fucking guitar, like real David Gilmour-y kind of vibes, you know. Yeah, the Gibson Girl refers to let me see if that's written out here. Gibson Girl refers to Charles Dana Gibson and the women he famously drew, often considered the pinnacle of American beauty standards. Yeah, essentially in this track, though, you learn that what's it been, you know, maybe the previous track was like early in the story and this is later, but essentially she is being pimped out by Isaiah and loaded up with drugs. And, you know, you're kind of, you know, typical, you know, prostitute being taken advantage of by a pimp situation where, you know, there's a lot of, what was it? Obsession with money, addicted to the drugs, says he's in love with my body and that's why he's fucking it up. And then he says to me, baby, if it feels good, then it can't be bad. Where I can be immoral in a stranger's lap. So yeah, pretty awful shit going on in this track. And it sounds like it does kind of sound almost like it's in a club or in. I mean,
it's pretty visual too.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. There is part of that article that I brought up earlier does reference this part of her story because. Basically,
Preacher's
the
daughter gone bad, or
like the gentleman's club essentially that Isaiah is running gets like raided and shut down, and there's like pictures of her all over the back area, you know, that he would show to clients and stuff. So, this situation is referenced in that article. So yeah, really big juxtaposition from the previous track, which was, you know, all about, you know, how she loves this Isaiah character and is really infatuated with them and stuff. And then, you find out the truth. This next track gets even darker, guys. This we go from
just keeps going.
Yeah. So this is actually this is Ptolemaea, I think is how it's pronounced. And so this is what I was referencing when I was talking about one of the circles of hell. This refers to the circle of hell that is about not regret, being like a traitor and being, you know, someone that is abandoned your like principles or something. You know what I mean? So basically she in this track is kind of having a bad trip from all of the drugs she's on and all of the, you know, abuse she's been going through, and kind of goes to that circle of hell. So here is definitely for me the standout track on the album, Ptolemaea.
Stop.
So I was saying earlier that this kind of reminds me, especially in this track, of like a soft Nine Inch Nails, like a soft Reznor, you know, because it's about really dark stuff. It's got like, you know, really intricate like sound work that makes you feel kind of uncomfortable and anxious with like the flies and stuff, you know. I want to say Nine Inch Nails used flies in one of their tracks too. But yeah, this is the track of her ultimate demise under you know, Isaiah's control. So here's one of the lines here that kind of describes the difference between the two of them. This is Isaiah saying, "You love blood too much, but not like I do, not like I do." Kind of referencing how she, being like a Christian and still from that faith, she cares about like that blood, the blood of Christ, whereas he's like, his blood that he's referring to is the blood that comes from the violence that he commits, you know. Yeah, he like kind of loves her but hates that he loves her, and like he goes like crazy essentially.
It's a whole cycle.
Yeah. Let's see, we got, even the iron still fears the rot, hiding from something I cannot stop, walking on shadows I can't lead him back, buckled on the floor when the night comes along, daddy's left and mama won't come home. And then where you hear the make it stop, I've had enough, is her screaming as she's being stabbed, I guess. And then she like runs away into the woods, and then yeah, but the main thing is, like, you can really hear the like emotion and kind of the story that's going on in just the sound of the music, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's really
full of just uneasiness, and
Yeah.
you're just like,
oh, and our person in the chat, Kim, mentioned the visualizers. There's really great visualizers for this album that she did on her own. There's just videos of her like just hanging out or whatever, but the visuals for this one in particular are pretty like creepy and you know,
like the
evocative. Yeah, a little bit ring like, you know. But yeah, here it is. Divine Comedy, specifically Dante's Inferno. Ptolemaea, named after Ptolemy, is a circle of hell in which the traitorous reside. And so this is a part where it really stuck with me. I think me and John were talking about this. Like, I've kind of been to this circle of hell before. Like, I had a bad trip on some mushrooms, and the kind of idea for this circle of hell is like you get there by like thinking that you have forsaken God in some way, and that you're reaping, you're sowing.
You're beyond hell.
Yeah.
You
like,
feel
it's
like
something
beyond hell.
It's something that I think other Christians have probably experienced when coming to psychedelics and stuff. Is if you do believe in hell, then and you do believe that what you're doing is a sin, then it all of a sudden you can find yourself in a very, very dark, very bad place, and you have to confront that feeling, you know. Not fun, not a lot of fun, but I really relate to this track because of that, though, and I think it's a really good representation of that kind of feeling. Of course, I didn't die in the end, but
is this the because I was always, is this the final like ring of hell?
I don't know which ring it is. Like, I'm not sure which ring it is.
Because I always remember like that in like the final ring of hell, like in Dante's Inferno, has like what is it? Who the Judah? It's like Judah and the guy that betrayed Caesar.
Oh,
are like on crosses.
Brutus,
yeah, it's Brutus and the guy that betrayed Jesus.
Judas
are like
Brutus
on,
and Judas.
Like
they're
you
cops.
know, like
yeah, maybe that is the final circle,
and like
then.
the final circle of hell, and they're just like burning and
yeah,
because that's their torture for betraying someone that they loved so much.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that tracks. And that's how she's feeling about her past and stuff. And it's complicated because there's also the story happening, but I think she's talking about the story and like kind of what she's dealing with in her personal spiritual life.
She's
but
dealing with a lot.
This next track we get to is we got a couple of these are instrumental tracks. Yeah. So this is called August Underground, and it is its title is a reference to a pseudo snuff film, an infamous pseudo snuff film. After she, in this song, she's kind of accepting her fate and passing into the next life. Yeah, you can feel the darkness there, you know.
Well, I was gonna say it's like, in reality, like that kind of fall into darkness is probably like pretty quiet, but like this is the kind of music you'd want for a fall
passing into the next life.
You know what I mean? Like,
fall into a bottomless pit.
Yeah,
just like it would almost ease the
transition,
all the vibration, it's like ease
honestly,
the whole mind state into like settling.
If you're not paying much attention to the lyrics, it could be a very chill way to.
Well, there's no lyrics in this song.
Well, in this, you're right. Yeah, in this song, yeah. But you can still feel the like tension and like she's still in the mortal plane and coming off the last track, coming off drugs and passing through, and. This next track called Televangelism. I don't know why it's called Televangelism, but it is, and it's
the stairway to televangelism heaven.
I guess. Yeah, here we go. Televangelism. Yeah. I like that one. I like that they go from, the audio, the themes in the audio are so good because like you feel that tension of her like leaving, and then this song kind of gets into her accepting her fate and transitioning into the like heavenly plane or something. And it's peaceful and nice, and it really juxtaposes the previous tracks, like brutality, the last couple of tracks, the brutality that happened in the previous one. Okay, good to stop. I like that she's really good at juxtaposing ideas like that, because like, you have the thoroughbred song, which is a positive portrayal of what's happening, and then followed by like the most awful details of that portrayal, so really, really good at playing two sides of what's going on in the story. And then we get to Sun Bleached Flies, which is the penultimate track. Yeah, had some of those fake saxophony kind of sounds in that one. We should mention she's a huge Enya fan. I think that should be apparent with her music. But this track has a lot of reflections on her life and what's happened to her so far. Reflections on the house with Willoughby in Nebraska, and you know, kind of the differences between
like your life flashing before your eyes.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, pretty much. I think that's kind of what's happening. She also wrote this is a song she wrote during the first week of the pandemic. So she was just she was in her like old house, I guess, and started playing around with a piano, and this was the result of that. And it's yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can find something. Oh, here we go. This line here, God loves you, but not enough to save you, is like, that's one of the lines that really struck me. Cause like, it's kind of like God loves you is like something that's kind of thrown around a lot, you know? And when you pair someone that says that a lot with that, you know, also that person being a horrible human being and, you know, inflicting trauma on you, then that line itself, God loves you, can even come to be traumatic.
It becomes like a harmful line.
Yeah.
Because you don't feel like God loves you.
Yeah.
Because I'm not portraying the traits that you say God should love. But you say God should love me no matter what.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Well, it's like the what would Jesus do thing too, you know? It's like phrase that like was thrown at you sometimes. And not necessarily followed by the person that was throwing it at you.
Now, what I want you to realize, people, though, is that what Jesus would do is love you, actually. For the record. Unless you're killing people. Don't kill people.
Let Jesus take the wheel.
But Jesus, and you know what, even sometimes, but like Jesus would love you for just being you.
Well, I mean, if you look at just the straight, like without any of the Christians, you know, interpretation or whatever, Jesus pretty
you gotta strip
chill
Jesus
guy.
bare.
He's all right.
But once you strip him bare, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
All right. He didn't make nobody pay for that bread and fish that he fed him.
Nah, dude.
He wasn't looking for that.
Listen to JC,
that wasn't the point.
The first one's always free.
Yeah.
Don't say that. That's not what this was.
Yeah, he was. It was one of the first. What do they call it? Where pay to play, not pay to play.
No, he was
the way the apps work nowadays, where everything is. Yeah, TLDR. Jesus was a socialist, but I do enjoy this reminiscent. I like that she says even with all of the trauma she's experienced, she still wants to pray and she still wants to have some sort of spirituality to hold on to. You know, even though she, you know, by all means shouldn't, because of her experience with her dad and experience with people like, I don't know.
Well, you know, it's like, because
Ethel Cain's got some amazing faith, I guess.
Well, I believe in that, because it's like, I have the same thing. Like, I have a dad who believes in the hardcore, strict beliefs.
Right. More legalistic.
And he raised me that way, but man, I still I see the better parts of what he taught me.
Right.
And I still see like the fact that Jesus was a real person. So like, you know, I have my own beliefs on that, you know.
Right, yeah.
Like
and it should be personal, you know.
And it should be you know, and it's just, well, it's like, because we don't know. Nobody knows.
Well, I think part of
nobody really knows what happened.
Well, I think what part of what's like hard with what she's gone through is that it's all of this, you know, authoritativeness and all this authoritarianism within organized religion that, you know, as a pastor's kid also really disliked about it. Although it's weird because like my dad, the pastor, wasn't the crazy evangelical in my life. That was more my stepdad. You know what I mean? And yeah, that God loves you thing. I mean, just a little personal anecdote. My stepdad was trying to tell my stepsister that she should be bringing her kids to church, and was starting to like get on her case about not bringing her kids to church. And it became this huge fight. And it was like, ultimately I had to be like, hey, listen, you weren't the best parent and you can't tell Katie how to raise her kids.
Yep.
Like,
get off your high horse, mister.
You know,
Right.
like, yes, you said, you know, God loves you and stuff, but like, you know, it didn't have that effect on us.
You don't.
So you don't get to then, you know.
When you don't actually like, well, it's one of those reality things.
You don't
where
walk
it's
the walk.
When you don't
Yeah.
walk the walk,
Yeah.
it's hard for everyone to just buy into what you're selling.
Well, and
You know?
it just shows that you're using it
Yep.
to control, and you're using it
Yep.
to be the authority and
It's
be
not-
the man of the house or
It's
whatever.
not the
you know?
realness of it. It's
Yeah.
what it's getting you. That's
Yeah.
what's
Yeah. Like, if your reason for getting into Christianity is because you want to lord over a traditional wife woman situation or something, then just fucking don't get into it.
I
Because
want my flock.
I always say.
yeah.
The only reason my dad wants me to go to church these days, because I every once in a while I make a deal with him about something, and the deal end is I go to church, and Steph's always like, "Why do you do it?
The opposite of the deal with the devil.
Why do you
deal
do
with the
it?"
Vern.
And I'm just like, because that's
Shame.
all he wants. I don't have to go
Yeah.
and sit there and be like, oh, I'm praising Jesus, which I do, you know,
Well, yeah,
I
I mean,
pray,
yeah.
but like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like all I have to do is go and sit there. And he feels like he gets to tell everyone that his son showed up.
Yeah.
And that
right,
makes
right.
him feel good.
Yeah.
and that's-
It's
And
just the little
that's
things.
what it is for him, because I
Yeah.
realized a long time ago he doesn't care. He didn't care if I showed up,
Yeah.
and because it's the same kind of thing you're saying.
Yeah.
Mine's on a much lower level, but it's the
Right.
same kind of thing you're saying, where like my
Yeah.
dad was so obsessed with church, but I realized at the end of the day that all he wanted was for my ass to be in the seat.
Yeah.
He didn't really care if I was there. He didn't want me to
Yeah.
embarrass him, and he wanted my butt in the seat.
Yeah.
You know,
But
and that's like,
yeah.
what's the point then?
Right.
What's the point of me coming to church?
You gotta get
every
these numbers
week?
up.
You gotta get these numbers up, man.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's the point.
Gotta get those stats.
Gotta be able to tell
Yeah.
God you made your son sit in church as much as possible.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a
That's- and
pastor's
that's
kid.
the-
I would show up once or
You're
twice a
glued
year.
to that seat, probably.
Well, no, like in the end, I would show up once or twice a year and be like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Pastor's kid here," and then leave.
Nope.
This next track, speaking of people that I never talked to again, this track is called "Strangers." Yeah, I love it's such a release. The last track, you know, it's a really good, you know, production wise, a lot of good stuff. However, in the song, we got some.
There's an ending.
There's an ending, yeah. So not only does this Isaiah character murder our protagonist,
Not only is he not a good guy,
he's not a good guy, and
Kind
he's
of
a
a
murderer, and he's kind of a
He's a big
bad
jerk.
bad person. He eats her, according to these lyrics here. We got in your basement I grow cold, thinking back to what I always was told, don't talk to strangers, you might fall in love. You devour like smoked bovine hide. How
Oh.
funny, I never considered
Oh,
myself
that
tough.
line.
You're handsome walking over me now. And oh yeah, that's the fucked up line. You're so handsome walking over to me now. Oh, over to
I
me.
thought it was
Okay.
the bovine line.
But she still has a fondness for him in the afterlife, even though all of this transpired.
She's
so like
happy
it kind
that
of shows.
he's eating her.
Well, no, it shows how fundamentally broken she was. You know, that she couldn't, even in the end, she couldn't determine
he's a good man.
what real love was. You know, it's very tragic.
Oh, he still loved me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Look,
He only
It looks like
murdered
he's
a couple
putting barbecue
people.
sauce on your thigh.
Look
right
good
there, bro.
look good on your lips.
Your thigh. Yes.
It looks like he's really loving that.
Yeah,
For sure,
yeah.
I guess. You know, hey.
All over your
Yeah,
mouth.
what we should hear is this song as portrayed by Macabre, that band that did the Dahmer album. We need to hear this story from their perspective.
Oh.
But yeah, so there's a lot of lyrics that suggest that he cannibalized her, and then in the very end she just kind of a little kind of line to, or she kind of has a line out to her mom. Mama, just know that I love you and I'll see you when you get here. Just a devastating line from a child that died before their parent. Ugh.
Isn't that always the devastating line?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Stockholm syndrome. It's kind of something that you could infer that they're experiencing, or that Ethel's experiencing. But yeah. So before we get out of here, though, we got one last thing to do on this podcast. I've thoroughly enjoyed this album. This has been a really, really interesting experience and story in general.
A lot of good comments on us.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? The rating system?
We gotta rate it.
Hold on.
Let me get the screen raised so y'all can see us rating this thing. So here is our ranking system. We always rank the.
Can you review the ranking system for me? Just
so we have 5 is the best. 5 is the best it can be.
That was the top tier.
Top tier. We got 4, which is mostly a pretty great concept album, but not perfect. Then we got 3, which is your good concept albums, or maybe even albums that aren't necessarily concept albums but had a cool idea throughout. And then 2, you got stuff that's not necessarily even concept albums, but
we could make an argument for it.
Yeah,
and we have.
And then 1, just not really concept at all, just something we did. And then we have Unscorable, and of course we have the January 6th.
I still think Digimon should not have been unscorable, but I'm with it.
I don't remember our reasoning for it, but it's there.
It's okay. We had to put some in there.
I think I didn't want to score it low, so I was just like, I'd rather just not score it.
It's more of my own bias than anything.
But I don't know. Personally,
I put it at the very top.
I was gonna say low top or 4.
I'm at 5.
4.
Yeah,
I'd say low 5 or high 4.
I think it's at least in the 5s,
especially with the stuff behind it.
With all the stuff,
counts a lot for me.
Yeah,
especially in my judging. So
she had so much material to supplant the album. I thought it was gonna be. I'll put it Prince Among Thieves.
That's a good spot.
We go. Yeah.
Put it right there.
It was a really, really good story, very well thought out, and obviously wants to expound on that. And so this is maybe even the beginning of a bigger story. This might be the beginning of a trilogy. So
but also all the production stuff, the missing report, the newspaper clippings.
Yeah.
There was so much to this.
Yeah.
That it didn't even feel like a concept. It actually felt like a almost legit full story. It wasn't even
you could close your eyes and watch this movie.
It
does feel better to put
really,
it in the low
really,
5s.
really, really good.
Yeah, definitely. I was thinking,
and the material.
Well,
was really
Trainwreck.
well.
It kind of reminded me of a little bit the twists and turns it had. And it even had a little bit of an afterlife thing going on. So weirdly, it reminded me a lot of Trainwreck from Boys Night Out.
A lot of abuse from the Who, Tommy.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of abuse in the S tier.
Hey, listen. That creates some of the best material. Doesn't it?
I guess this is a testament to
art is a testament to both the most joyous and the most depressing parts of life.
All that pain from the Chris Gaines.
Yes, and all that pain. Yes.
Let's not talk
all that
about
pain
Chris
creates.
Gaines.
I can't wait for that.
Of course,
trilogy.
it deserves to be there. That's not the point.
I can't wait till the trilogy of Chris Gaines is finally released. We'll get there one day.
What's the trilogy?
Oh, I mean, it hasn't come out yet.
We need the third part. Where's the third part?
I'm saying, I think. Well, he said a while ago there would be more Chris Gaines. He might have been joking.
I hope he was joking.
I hope he wasn't. But one of these days we'll get more Chris Gaines. And with that, I think we will leave you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining us in the chat, too. I appreciate that. We're available at this very YouTube page, youtube.com/FlyoverStatePark.
Right.
And if you want to listen to us on podcasts, I would say also listen to us on YouTube because fuck Spotify.
That's right.
Thank you all for listening, and we will see you on the next one. The album concept hour is Brad LeBaron, Dave Gallagher, and John Aker. Special thanks to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard for the theme music. Join the discussion on our Discord, tweet to us at albumconceptpod, or for everything else, go to linktree/FlyoverStatePark. See you on Side B. This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.